Now listen, decluttering is great, but where do you even start? Or if you have started, how do you keep up your momentum? Well, lucky for you, every month I share 10 things, 10 specific things that you can declutter to help you take the guesswork out of what to get rid of. So let us look at what is on the chopping block for July. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And let's dive right in. First thing on our list is barbecue tools, accessories, stuff. Really anything you would use for outdoor dining. For us here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's coming into that time of year, you know, the weather is heating up. Hallelujah. So you might be breaking out the grill more often, and you don't want to do that to find that bits are broken or rusted or that you're missing things. No one wants to start grilling something and find out that they don't have what they need. But on the flip side, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, maybe you're starting to pack that stuff away for the season, in which case you don't want to do that if the stuff is rusted or grotty or in some way not in good condition, because let's face it, it's not going to get any better shoved in storage or just left, lost and forgotten over the winter season. For the stuff that you are keeping, make sure that you're giving it a good scrub, make sure that it is still in good condition, make sure that you are maintaining it so that it lasts you a long time. Also, just for safety reasons, because grills are notorious for grease fires if you don't clean them out properly. This next one's kind of a funny one because I think we all have a favorite, but none of us will really admit it because it's one of those grown up things, but it is your pots and your pans. Look, we all have a favorite pot. We all have a favorite pan. The one that we go back to over and over again because it's the perfect size, the perfect whatever. It just works. Also, if you can hear that noise in the background, it's the dishwasher. I am sorry I sat down on this floor because I can see our kickboards under the cabinets and they are filthy. Anyway, that's another job for me to do, declutter all of that dirt. But back to the task at hand, which is getting rid of some pots and pans that you don't use. Like I said, you probably reach for the same ones over and over again. If there's something sitting there that you know that you never use, donate it. Someone else would get great use out of it, assuming that it is in good quality. If it's something that you're not using on a regular basis, but you do still want to keep, if you have the space for it, move it out of your kitchen and store it somewhere else so that it's not getting in the way every day when you're making dinner. Obviously, look out for things like, you know, if you've got a non-stick coating and that is starting to chip or peel, or anything that's starting to chip or crack or anything like that. This is a great category because pots and pans are generally so big and awkward and cumbersome that even just getting rid of one can save you a lot of space and a lot of hassle on a day-to-day basis. Not only am I have a favorite pot, old, but I'm also so old that I actually asked my husband last year to get me these pots and pans for my birthday. That's a special milestone, isn't it, when you start asking for like practical things for your birthday? Ugh. Anyway, wearing that old lady badge with pride. But yeah, pots and pans, a great one to clear out. Next up is another category that only grows as you grow and get older. That is your food storage. I'm talking Tupperware, Ziploc bags, anything you would use to store leftovers or pack up your lunches. I suppose the first thing to mention here is make sure that everything has a lid. You know, everything has a mate. If not, if something is missing in action, it's probably safe to get rid of the lone wolf. I know it does take up a little bit of extra space, but I always store things with the lids on because then I never lose things. They never get separated and one just goes wandering off, never to be seen again. No, keep them together if you can. I try and stick to glass or ceramic these days. I am slowly but surely replacing all of my plastic tubs with something that is a little less toxic, a little less likely to leach horrible stuff into my food. Plus, a lot of the plastic ones can get really grotty and grubby over time. I'm going to be decluttering these. They've got stains on them. They're all scratched. I don't know what. They're not looking great. So these can go. Also remembering to get rid of the lids with them. So yeah, get rid of anything that is missing its mate, that's not in good condition, or that you're just not using. And if you can, try and slowly transition away from plastic single-use stuff towards reusable, either glass or ceramic storage tubs. And some of these you can get really inexpensively. So like IKEA do great glass storage containers. So you don't even have to break the bank to do it, but this is a good one to tackle, you know, if you've got a few spare minutes, because it really will make a big difference. Because I think we all know that like the Tupperware drawer is usually the one that's the most messy. So this could be a very satisfying job. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which can also get a little bit messy. It's definitely messy in this house. In my defense, this is mostly my husband's stuff. He is the better cook in this house, and for me, like salt and pepper is kind of pushing it for me. That is the level of my cooking, whereas he uses all of the herbs and the spices and the seasonings and the oils and the sauces, all of that stuff. I'm very basic with my cooking. So yeah, because he's the one in and out of here most often, it's not looking its best. And I'll be honest, I don't go messing with it. I just leave him to it. Would I love to get in here, clean this all out, give it a good wipe down, a good scrub? Yes, but am I going to? No, I have enough to be doing. Now look, I know this stuff can last a good while, particularly if it's in a sealed container, you know, something airtight. It will last you, but do you really need a seasoning that is older than you are? Plus, chances are you probably bought something that was for a specific recipe for a specific time in your life, and then you never used it again. You know, you used a pinch of it and now you've still got a whole bottle left. Same with oils and sauces and things like that. If you've had them for a long time, chances are they're no longer in good condition. They may possibly even be harmful to your health. Now, I'm not saying you have to make your spice cabinet look like, you know, the Pinterest ones where they're all in matching containers and they're all labeled and stuff. Those are lovely. Don't get me wrong, if you want to do it, by all means, you have my full blessing. But you don't have to. You can just keep your spice cabinet looking like a bit of a mishmash. But yeah, get rid of the ones that you don't want, that are no longer in good condition, and just spruce it up a little bit so that the things that you do use and the things that you do want to reach for on a regular basis, you have easy access to them and you're not knocking over other stuff to get to the one thing that you always use. As for me, I will be closing over these doors and pretending like this does not exist. This next one is the perfect opportunity for using natural decluttering, which is simply using something up. I am talking about your baking supplies. This form of decluttering can be delicious. This cupboard is like my pride and joy. I don't like to cook. I generally do not like to bake either. But I decluttered this probably 2 years ago now, and it has stayed spotless for me, and I could not be more thrilled with it. So many other spaces that I have decluttered and tidied that just end up messy again, whereas this one, because it doesn't get daily use, though I probably do use it about once a week, it has stayed nice and neat. I'm very happy about it. But look, you've probably bought a box mix or a bag of flour or something that you never got around to using. Maybe you've got some cake decorating things in here. Maybe you've got lots of random bits and bobs. I know for us, definitely, like during the pandemic, for instance, we went out and bought a lot of flour, bread flour more specifically. My husband, like most people, bought a bread maker. He was making a lot of bread, in fairness to him. He still does, but I also went out and bought some box mixes, and I also did that when I was, you know, experimenting with different types of diets and stuff, you know, to try and get to the root of my health issues. So I was buying, we say, like gluten-free stuff, I was buying keto-friendly stuff, etc. Testing things out, seeing what worked, and then, you know, decided what was working, what wasn't working. Maybe you were the same. Maybe you bought things to test them out. Maybe you bought things during the pandemic and they've sat there ever since. Either just go ahead and get rid of them, donate them if they're still in good condition, or like I said, use the natural decluttering method. Set aside an afternoon or a weekend and just like bake to your heart's content. Use up all of those box mixes. You could even gift them to neighbors and friends and stuff. I'm sure they will be very happy. And streamline your supplies until you're left with what you actually want and need. Since I did this, I have actually found that I am baking a lot more. Beforehand, I did not like opening this cupboard. It was a disaster. Whereas now, because everything is neat and organized and I know where to find it and it's easy to grab, I have been baking more things. Listen, I'm not going to be winning any awards or anything, but sometimes it is nice to, you know, whip up a batch of scones or something. I'm actually currently trying to make them from scratch. I was making them from a mix previously and they turn out wonderful every time, but the mixes are expensive, so I've switched over now. My first batch did not turn out well, but there's hope for me yet. I'm going to keep experimenting. And yeah, like I said, a cupboard that is neat and organized and decluttered makes that so much easier for me. Okay, let's get out of the kitchen and down off this step for this next one. This one's all about those sun creams, bug sprays, insect repellents, all those things that you would use to protect yourself when you are outside in the sun. You definitely want to make sure that this stuff is in good condition so that it is giving you the protection that you need. All of this stuff will expire. So if you've got something that has been sitting there since last summer, or maybe even the summer before, it's time to get rid of that. It is no longer going to do the job that you need it to do. I know there are so many other things in life where, you know, it goes past the expiry date and you think, yeah, it'll be fine for another little while, and I do that myself sometimes, but I don't mess around with sun creams. No. But I bet even apart from expired stuff, you probably bought a sun cream or an insect repellent or something like that that you just didn't like. Maybe you bought it in an aerosol and you don't like the spray, or maybe you bought it in a cream and you just don't like that, or there's one particular one that you don't like the smell of. Whatever it is, you probably have something that you just do not like to use. Because not only will decluttering this category mean that you are using products that are actually safe, you know, you're getting rid of anything that has expired, but you're only keeping the stuff that you do actually reach for. You will be more inclined to use it if the stuff that you have is stuff that you want to use and if it's easily accessible. So another thing I would say is to, once you have decluttered it, keep the stuff that you're hanging on to close to where you need it. There's probably no point keeping this type of stuff, let's say in an upstairs bathroom, and every time you go to leave the house, anytime you're going somewhere, you have to run up the stairs, grab it, come all the way back downstairs. You're creating another obstacle for yourself. So for this stuff, keep it in a place where you will actually use it, somewhere that is easily accessible, that you can just grab and go. You've probably noticed a bit of a theme by now. Everything on this list is geared towards enjoying yourself outdoors, activities and hosting. This next one is no exception, though it can also be done indoors, and that is going through your party supplies. I use this 3-drawer plastic storage unit. We got it when my daughter was younger. I've since repurposed it because I was so sick of running around the house at party time trying to find candles. Could never find candles, even though I knew I had some somewhere. But also all of those things, you know, little banners or tablecloths and paper plates, all those types of things. I also store a small selection of cards in here just in case an event crops up that I'm not aware of in time. But it means everything is nice and neat and all corralled together, but I do go through it on a regular basis and get rid of anything that I know I'm not going to use. Maybe you bought a banner, a sign, or some accessories, party supplies for a very specific event, you know, maybe somebody's 40th birthday, and you know that you're not going to use that stuff again. Those are the things that you can weed out now. This type of stuff, because it's small and because post-party cleanup generally just involves shoving everything back in the box because you don't want to deal with it, this can really get cluttered very, very quickly. Then the next time you come to throw a party, you are having to dig through a lot of dirt, a lot of useless stuff to find what you actually need. So do yourself a favor right now. Go through it, get rid of anything that you know you're not going to use again. When we first moved over here, I bought a whole bunch of balloons to surprise my husband for his birthday, and oh, it was a night. I don't know how long I spent blowing up balloons, and I even had like a pump to do it. No, I got rid of those balloons afterwards because I didn't use all of them for a start, and I knew I never wanted to see another balloon as long as I lived. But yeah, all of those extra balloons, they were decluttered. And like I said, I have saved myself a lot of hassle by just keeping them all in the one place so that I know when party time comes around, I just grab this whole container and it has everything I need. Now, speaking of parties and hosting things, you may be looking around and thinking that your space could do with a little sprucing up. That is where this next category comes in, and it is all of your paint supplies. I am talking brushes, rollers, actual paints themselves, the trays, the brush cleaners, all of the stuff that I have become acquainted with to my detriment over the past year or two. I had never had any dealings with paint before I redecorated my office, and I'm not sure I ever will again. It's not a fun process. The actual painting itself is reasonably okay, but I'll tell you what's the worst part. Cleaning all of the brushes and rollers and stuff afterwards. That is a solid nightmare, and I hope I never have to do it again. So I could easily see how you might have done a painting project in the past and then just thrown your brushes back in without cleaning them properly, and now they're no good to anyone. I can also see how you would do that with the painting tray, not washing it out properly. I can also see how you would just want to throw the paint tins back in there and not properly seal them up and all of that stuff. Yeah, that could so easily be done. But paint expires, and all of these brushes and stuff, they're not going to clean themselves, and they're not going to get any better the longer you leave them there. So go through all of your paint supplies right now and get rid of anything that is just not in good condition, that you're not going to get any more use out of. For old paints that you want to get rid of, make sure that you are disposing of those in a responsible way. Another great tip is to keep a list of all of the names and the brands of the paint that you have used throughout your home, so that when you do have to do those touch-ups, you know exactly what to buy. But it's going to save you so much hassle if, when you need to paint, all of your supplies are on hand, they're all in good condition, and they're all ready to use. Also a great space saver, because a lot of this stuff is just bulky and awkward. And let's face it, some of it is hazardous too, so don't keep it on hand if you don't need it. Now, while you are sprucing up your home and making it look its best, you may also be thinking about making yourself look and feel your best, which is where this next category of things comes in, and that is hair, tools and accessories, or all of those hair products. If this is a large collection for you, you could definitely narrow it down and just focus on one subcategory. So maybe you just want to focus on hair tools, you know, dryers, straighteners, curling tongs, all of those types of things. Maybe you just want to focus on hair accessories, so hair bands, hair clips, bobbins, if that's what you call them where you are, hair ties, those types of things, or hair products if you've got a lot of styling gels, waxes, pastes, sprays, all those types of things that I thankfully know nothing about anymore, because I just decluttered all my hair. I do know though, when I had long hair, I had 11 bajillion hair clips. There was no amount of hair that I ever could have had that would warrant all of the hair clips that I had. Have since decluttered those. I do keep the hair dryer and like styling tools around for family and guests when they visit, so they do definitely still get used. But yeah, if you've got a collection of stuff and you're really not using it, get rid of it. And while I am half joking about the hair situation, it does bring up a very good point, which is to get to kind of the root of the problem. Like, if there is one thing that you can declutter that would stop a lot of other clutter coming into your home, that's a good one to focus on. So for me, getting rid of long hair meant I could get rid of all of those hair clips and hair products and all that type of thing. Listen, I barely even comb my hair these days. I'm just like, job done. If you can, try and focus first on those clutter attractors. Certain things just beget more things. But yeah, hair tools, accessories, products, all of the hair styling stuff, whittle it down to just what you want and need and use on a regular basis. Okay, we focused on things for your head. Now let's move all the way down to your feet. I am talking footwear, and again, in sticking with the theme, specifically footwear that you would wear outside when it is hot. So I am talking flip-flops, sandals, wedges. This can sometimes be a tough category for me, because when I find a comfortable pair of shoes, I don't want to give them up for anything, even though they are falling apart. So last year I had this pair of black sandals that I wore everywhere. I had them for a long time. They went with a lot of different things, and then one day I went to pull them on and the strap snapped off them, and I was like, no. And I was thinking, you know, could I fix them, or was this a salvageable situation? And sadly the answer was no. Even if I could have fixed the strap, which was not looking likely, I had to admit the fact that the shoes were very much past their prime. So yeah, sadly had to give up the ghost on those, but this is where I keep all of the rest of my flat sandals. These ones are still in good condition. I keep them in one of these scub boxes from IKEA. Just means they're all together where I need them, when I need them, easily accessible. I can just grab and go, but it also means that come winter, when I'm no longer wearing these, this is easy to just like put away. But yeah, these are the types of shoes that, because they are open to the elements and because we wear them, you know, on beaches and things like that, they can get really sandy and dirty and sweaty really quickly. Plus, unfortunately, a lot of flip-flops and things are really only made for one season. They're generally, like I said, unfortunately, almost meant to be disposable. So if you've got a pair of shoes there that have seen better days, that are just not in good condition, or maybe they hurt your feet, I can't do the flip-flops with the like thing that goes in between your toes. No, those are 100% a no-go for me. Yeah, shoes that don't look good, that don't feel good, just get rid of them now. Keep yourself looking and feeling great all through the season. Now, if you're on a roll and you want to keep decluttering, I have 50 things that you can toss in less than 5 minutes. Real quick, easy wins. Check out this video for all of those. In the description, there's also like a downloadable PDF, so you don't have to keep starting the video. You can just like print it out or save it or whatever. Check everything off as you go. Head on over there, and until next time, go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feici mé sibh se go luath. Slán!